One of my favorite techniques from this is a roll through, and it can really, if you're having a hard time limp arming out, this could be something that you can really use, and it's hard for him to stop. This is also a very good counter when they uchimata you back to the ground. So I've gotten the single, I've got up to this position, and I've got the waist. Again, we're still here momentarily, and I always want to try to be up on my foot because it's driving in, because it's going to try to keep him on his knee, even though that's not always going to happen. What we're going to do, the difference is that I'm going to take this left arm and put it behind Lance's leg, and I'm going to hold on to his quad. Now, with the gi, we grab the belt. Without the gi, obviously, this tight waist is fine. We don't need to grab anything, but with the gi, the belt is definitely going to intensify our roll through. And then here's what I want to do. Whether this is with an uchimata or not, if he uchimatas me, it's going to be far easier to do this because of his momentum. But whether he does it or not, my move is still the same. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my head through Lance's legs, and then I'm going to change my body position to throw myself outward, and it's going to roll Lance through. At this moment, I always like to try to weave the leg, although it's not necessarily necessary, but I like to try to punch my left arm to the far quad just momentarily so I can get up and my head can get high so that this leg doesn't go back to the guard so easy. It just, in my opinion, just lets you get up and your head much higher a little sooner if you try to weave that leg off of the end of that roll through. So again, to really the thing that I want to stress is that the head must go through his leg. What you're doing is you're rolling in tight enough of a circle that it's just really difficult for him to counter. But we're here, and then I feel like, hey, you know what? I'm either going to get reversed or just need something different. My hand goes through the legs. Obviously, with the gi, we could also grab the belt. That would be fine, the belt or the lapel. Just remember, if you grab the belt, try to grab both of the pieces of the belt instead of just one. But you can easily do that. Do you need to? No. The hand on the quad is good enough, but it's, again, if you add a grip component to it, it's going to make it harder and harder for him to counter. The angle is also important, that when I put my head through here, I'll just loosen my grip so you can see where my feet go. It's not beside Lance. It's all the way out to this angle where we're almost off to the shoulder. I need that because that gives me a lot of pulling power, and it puts him onto my chest, which means that I can now weave this leg as we go over. Change my position, my head can be up high, and we can be in a low side position there with our near side underhook. Now there's always going to be a chance when he does not roll you through with an uchimata that he can take his arm out and base, because remember, he has the overhook. I have an underhook. I don't really have a solid way like a John Wayne we can lock his wrist in. This case, I can't really focus on locking his arm in there because I need to focus on holding his hip or waist. If his arm posts, then we're just going to come back up and take the back. Most of the time when someone rolls you through, they've committed that overhook, so it's with that momentum, it's usually very difficult for him to get his hand posted with any power whatsoever. But when we do it on our own with no uchimata, this overhook, he can post it. So let's take a look at your follow-up just to make sure that we have that ready. He's here, I put my hand behind his leg, and as I try to roll through, he does that. He posts. So that's fine. When he posts, it's his weight drive is just going to literally pull you back up. You'll see that this time, Lance is going to post and completely not allow me to roll him through. He's going to put so much weight backwards that I get stuck. That's it. Now we use our grip, pull ourselves right back through, and we're going to be on a turtle position. So this is your follow-up, and it's going to happen from time to time, and you're going to go from turtle to right on somebody's back. It's a very, very good 1-2 position, and it's very unorthodox because we're putting that arm behind the leg, and it's almost inviting your opponent or training partner to roll you through because we now have no base on that shoulder, and I find that this is a very, very useful roll through. So please give that a try. I think you're gonna like it very much. So now what happens is we looked at it. We have an arsenal of tools now to draw from when we have the leg. We have control of the leg. Even if he sprawls, we still have that high shin grip. What happens if we lose the leg? So if we lose the leg, we know that we could peek out. But now let's say, hey, we're not peeking out. We're going to start to get back to our open guard, or sometimes, a lot of times in this one, we'll get into closed guard or half guard because of the drive of weight. I can't stress enough or reiterate enough what is the determining factor of when you can wrestle, or those techniques that we've looked at so far, and when you cannot. The main factor is if I have control of his leg or I don't. Remember, this is a turtle escape method. If you have control of the leg, and you could be above the high shin, you could be on the quad, on the hamstring for this. If I can hold his leg where it is, while I move to him, you can use a half guard sit. You can then wrestle. You can get into your half guard. You can re-wrestle on singles, etc., etc. If I lose that, I'm pivoting back to the guard. So let's look at this, and then we'll look at the movement by itself. But let's look at it in reference to our training partner first. So I've got Lance in a single, and he sprawls. I've lost the leg. I may have a hold of the side of it, but I don't have control of it anymore. So here's what I need to do. I'm going to pivot. I'm essentially going to make sure that I bring my knee under my chest. That relationship is super important so I can hand fight. We post our opposite leg. So if he's on my right side, I'm posting my right leg. And then we're pivoting. So the movement looks like this. I'm going to pivot to my guard. I'm going to pivot back to an open guard setting. If he's sprawling on me hard enough, he may even fall into my closed guard. He may fall into my half guard. But we're going to pivot and get into a scenario where we're able to get back to a guard. When we pivot, our head needs to stay super low. So let me show this movement without my training partner. This is what it looks like. He is right here. I've got the single. I lost the single. I'm going to slide my knee up so that it's directly under my chest. That's, again, very important. What that does is it gives you the power of your hands. You can hand fight. You can move because we've got some base under our chest. We're going to post up the leg that he's on. So he's on my right side. That means my right leg is going to be posted. Whether I have even a little tiny block of the leg, it's a very good idea. So you may not have your arms on the ground. It's better if I can have some sort of, any type of touching of his leg so he doesn't sprint back here. But anyway, if he's on my right side, the right leg is posted. Now, it's super important that we pivot with this one. I pivot on my knee. We do not close the distance. So I'm not chasing him unless we have control of the leg. If I don't have control of the leg, I'm going to pivot. So what we do is we take our head very close to the ground, and I begin pivoting on my knee. If you can imagine that your head is tied to a pole from your ankle that shoots through your shin, through your knee, and right up to your head. If we can pretend that there's a pole that goes through there, and I cannot get off that pole, you can see that my foot and my head go together until I sit to my hip. And then my head comes back, my leg opens, and then we're able to get to the guard. As long as you keep your head low to the floor, we're going to be lightning fast to pivot our foot underneath him. And it's going to make it so that, number one, guillotines are hard to get. Any kind of Darce chokes or et cetera, is going to be very difficult to get because your head will get so far back so quickly that it becomes hard to get. If I bring my head up, I'm going to bring my head into my training partner's weight. So